So, our task as a group is to help clarify what we read so that it becomes a clear message. And that will apply to our reading today from perception to knowledge. Hello and welcome to Miracles on High Plains. My name is Jonica, and Julie is our reader for this session.
All healing is release from the past. That is why the Holy Spirit is the only healer. He teaches that the past does not exist, a fact which belongs to the sphere of knowledge, and which therefore no one in the world can know. It would indeed be impossible to be in the world with this knowledge. For the mind that utilizes no perception at all, my apologies, for the mind that knows this unequivocally knows also it dwells in eternity and utilizes no perception at all. It therefore does not consider where it is, because the concept where does not mean anything to it. It knows that it is everywhere, just as it has everything and forever.
Wow. So that's a lot being said there. Let's make sure we don't just rush over it without some clarification. So this earlier parts of the chapter discussed the fact that healing is the release from the past. So we've seen that message before. What we see now is there's an expansion. Where does that come from? It comes from the broader principle, which the Holy Spirit knows, is the past is not a reality. Like right now, things that happened last year are not equal reality to what we're experiencing right now. It's a memory. We have memories of the past. Partial representations are our mind, but they're not real. Those are representations. It's not the truth. Only the present is true. So we've read about that. What we didn't know is the realization that the past does not exist comes from a plane of understanding from the plane of knowledge and is being communicated to us at a level that we can begin to grapple with, but no one in this world can really know this. And I want to elaborate on that, interpret. What we mean is, as you all know, right now, you can be in one of two worlds. You can be in the world that love guides you to, or you can be in the world that pain guides you to. And no one in the world of pain can know and understand the idea that the past does not exist because all pain, mental, emotional, psychological pain, comes from dwelling upon what's happened in the past. And so you can't know that it doesn't exist if you dwell in it. So that's level something that I think can be understood. That's what this chapter's been about. Where do you place your consciousness? Where is your attention? Um, what is new here is that the mind that knows this unequivocally knows that it dwells in eternity. And we haven't discussed that at length. and utilizes no perception at all. So we would say that none of us are there yet, dwelling in eternity and utilizing no perception at all, but we are being given a glimpse of that state that is ahead, so to speak, in our journey, where we graduate from the realm of perception and enter into the sphere of knowledge. And upon entering the sphere of knowledge, it is radically different than the sphere of perception, having the following attributes: dwelling in eternity, using no perception at all, is not concerned with the concept of where in space, where am I in space, has no is not meaningful from a perspective of eternity. For the mind, now you have to enlarge what we mean by mind here to not mean your consciousness, but the universal mind of God, of which we are a part of. The mind that knows this is everywhere and has everything forever. If you think of it in terms of the cosmic mind of the creator, it's much easier to accept that that mind is everywhere, has everything, and forever. So the transition from perception to knowledge is into this qualitatively more expansive realm of awareness. And we're being, in the Course of Miracles, does not carry us to the sphere of knowledge, but it brings us up to the doorway. And that is a great deal. That's a gift to be brought to the doorway of knowledge. Julie?
The very real difference between perception and knowledge becomes quite apparent if you consider this. There's nothing partial about knowledge. Every aspect is whole, and therefore no aspect is separate. You are an aspect of knowledge, being in the mind of God, who knows you. All knowledge must be yours, for in you is all knowledge. Perception, at its loftiest, is never complete. Even the perception of the Holy Spirit, as perfect as perception can be, is without meaning in heaven. Perception can reach everywhere under His guidance, for the vision of Christ beholds everything in light. Yet no perception, however holy, will last forever.
Well, these are amazing statements. Um, and so let's deal with the first part here, the very real difference between perception and knowledge. It would be not difficult to convince you that your perception of life, of the world, of yourself, and the people around you is different than mine. And why? Because each one of us have pieced perception is cobbled together. Think of it like a jigsaw puzzle, all these pieces of information. You have your experience of where you were born, when you were born, your family of origin, your country, some people, the language and the culture, all that differs for people, and we assemble, crudely speaking, those fragments of experience and knowledge into a perceptual system, and no two are identical, and nor are any two complete. Well, knowledge is radically different in that, being a part of the mind of God, it is complete. It encompasses everything, and as we just read, everywhere and forever. It's a whole. And so The truth is, when your being, I'm talking about your true eternal spirit being, was created, you were created within the sphere of God's mind, the sphere of knowledge. And being in the mind of God, um, that knowledge is a part of your divine nature. Do you understand now why we talk about it? Because we're finding our way back to our place of origin, the mind of God, where the light and understanding is clear and unobstructed. All that differs from perception. And I think this might be the only place in the Course of Miracles where it says so in the manner that it does here. Even the perception of the Holy Spirit in heaven, it's not a meaningful device. To perceive is not meaningful in heaven. So, what is the Holy Spirit up to? She is up to helping us exchange the perceptions that we all now have for a lofty perception, which will bring us up to the gateway of knowledge, meaning it would be a perception of peace and love and healing and wholeness. It's still a perception, but it's so close to knowledge that the transition into the realm of knowledge becomes possible. Another byproduct of that is from a fearful, judgmental, dark, and separate state, you cannot transition into knowledge because it's that thought system is at war with all that knowledge represents. Susie?
Yeah, I've come to 100% know from the course, from studying the course, that I suffer or have lack of peace, or choose any word, anxiety, fear, due to all of my false perceptions that are all tied to my false identity, who I call Susie. And the wonderful thing is that I know it now. You know, I didn't know it before I came into A Course in Miracles at all. I thought the ego was like who I was. So at any time of the day, I know how I feel. So if I'm not happy or calm or joyful, I 100% know I am perceiving something that isn't there. And that's amazing for me, because when I first came in here, I was filled with anxiety, et cetera, and really didn't understand why. So the journey is amazing, and I love that I understand it better and better, but it takes a while for anybody that's just starting.
Yeah, it takes a while in the sense that 4 years is a while.
It's 5.
5 now, but you were
Yeah.
by the time you were at 4 years, you were quite
Yeah,
aware of.
no, I would have to say I started to really have some healing even 3 years ago, but didn't understand Susie's this whole thing until I started truly watching my thoughts in my mind.
There you go. All right, we're going to go on. Thank you, Susan.
Perfect perception, then, has many elements in common with knowledge, making transfer to it possible. Yet the last step must be taken by God. Because the last step in your redemption, which seems to be in the future, was accomplished by God in your creation. The separation has not interrupted it. Creation cannot be interrupted. The separation is merely a faulty formulation of reality, with no effect at all. The miracle, without a function in heaven, is needful here. Aspects of reality can still be seen, and they will replace aspects of unreality. Aspects of reality can be seen in everything and everywhere. Yet only God can gather them together by crowning them as one with the final gift of eternity.
I just feel this really strong urge to share a concept here that will help. It's about reference points and viewpoints, of which we all have. Think in terms first of the horizontal plane that extends way far beyond anything the eye can see in either direction. Time is like a horizontal plane that extends far into the past, far into the future. And that is one way of looking at your situation. That's the one that we're all familiar with. And as we've been reading, places a great deal of guilt in the past, of the timeline of the past, and apprehension or fear with respect to the timeline of the future. What truth of the does is it shifts us out of the horizontal timeline and into the vertical line of eternity. Every attribute in the vertical line of eternity differs from the attributes you find on the horizontal line of time. And so when we talk about the last step, literally is at the end of time. It's when one shifts from a time-centric experience of reality into an eternal centric experience of reality. It's a shift in consciousness. It's not changing locations. We just said it's everywhere and forever, nor does it depend on time. It would seem to be in the future when this happens. But that's a safety device of the mind. It's available at all times in the present. It's the eternal present. And so that awareness of the ability of your mind to let go of the limitations of the timeline and to be free in the eternal line, that shift is all what chapters 14 through 18 are going to be about. The holy instant, the holy encounter, the holy relationship, the miracle, all the principles are about that shift. So we're conceptualizing it right now, and then we'll introduce it more as the experience of that shift in the chapters immediately to follow. And the miracle is the most accessible device, if I can call it a device, experience for that shift from being imprisoned in time to being free in eternity. And so just know that now that that's our target. That's what we're going for. It's not a secret sauce, but if you were to use that metaphor, it's the secret sauce. The miracle is the secret sauce.
Apart from the Father and the Son, the Holy Spirit has no function. He is not separate from either, being in the mind of both. and knowing that mind is one. He is the thought of God, and God has given him to you because he has no thoughts he does not share. His message speaks of timelessness in time, and that is why Christ's vision looks on everything with love. Yet even Christ's vision is not his reality. The golden aspects of reality that spring to light under his loving gaze are partial glimpses of the heaven that lies beyond them.
So this really says it well. I would really draw your attention to this because we're talking about the Holy Spirit, the voice for God, the messenger, the teacher, the healer, carries a message that speaks of timelessness in time. The ordinary human mind says, "You're wacky. What are you talking about? And why would you even be interested in a timeless message in time? What good would that do you?" It's a complete shift into awakening. And when that's done in the present now, is when that experience occurs. There are aspects of divine reality that come to light, that are here always, everywhere, and forever, but cannot be seen when we're dwelling on the past and the future and have our attention all in the wrong place. So, but when we are in the present, they spring to light. And what are they? This is one of my favorite words with respect to miracles. They are a glimpse of heaven. It's not the same as entering forever into heaven and never returning back into darkness, but it's a glimpse of heaven. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. If you haven't already been aware, you probably have experienced it, but maybe didn't label it as such. It's not important that you label it. But more and more as you practice this, it occurs more and more often, and your mind takes note this experience keeps happening, and you wind up wondering what it is. It's a partial glimpse of heaven where aspects of divine eternal reality spring to light. So that's what we're talking about. That's everything that the Holy Spirit does is to prepare us for that experience. Everything.
This is the miracle of creation, that it is one forever. Every miracle you offer to the Son of God is but the true perception of one aspect of the whole. Though every aspect is the whole, you cannot know this until you see that every aspect is the same, perceived in the same light, and therefore one. Everyone seen without the past thus brings you nearer to the end of time by bringing healed and healing sight into the darkness and enabling the world to see. For light must come into the darkened world to make Christ's vision possible even here. Help him to give his gift of light to all who think they wander in the darkness, and let him gather them into his quiet sight that makes them one.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make a statement. It's kind of like a trick question, so I'm setting you up for that. I'm not being sincere here. And the statement is, in the last month, I've had at least 3 miracles that I've been aware of. at least three that I could tell, oh wow, that's a miracle. Okay, that's a statement. So that statement makes reference to the past 30 days, the past month. And it also um, is has baked into it the idea that those were three different miracles, that they were happened at different points in time, perhaps different people were involved, different situations, quote, different miracles. And there's the rub. It's a perspective along the timeline. We divide those experiences up into separate experiences at separate times and separate places. But when we shift into the eternal line, the timing has no meaning whatsoever, nor does the physical location of where have any meaning. It just doesn't matter. And so those what were described as three separate miracles now are all seen as a part of the one miracle of shifting from time into timelessness. And therefore, throughout the entire world, all the miracles that ever happen are really a part of one enormous miracle of creation. Um, so this is a big shift. There is only one miracle. Yes, it appears to show up in different times and different places and different people, but that's a perceptual description of the miracle. From the eternal line, it's where experiences glimpses of the miracle. It's a whole, it's a unified oneness of which there are an infinite number of experiences, places, people, situations. All that matters not. What matters is that we experience it and it brings healing to us. It's a gift. By the way, all this, as you know, is a gift. And the way in which a friend of mine, I can hear Tracy Green saying, sounds great. How do I get on board? Where's the on ramp? I want that for myself. How do I find the on ramp to it? She used to treat it like a highway. Well, it's through the Holy Spirit's first lesson, to have, give all to all. You experience this by your giving. It says right here, help him to give his gift of light to all who think they wander in the darkness. And so it's through the giving you wind up being a representative of this understanding of that, how we can heal our minds by perceiving according to this new perceptual system which the Holy Spirit is teaching. Speaking of those miracles, Julie.
They are all the same, all beautiful and equal in their holiness. And he will offer them unto his Father as they were offered unto him. There is one miracle, as there is one reality. And every miracle you do contains them all, as every aspect of reality you see blends quietly into the one reality of God. The only miracle that ever was is God's most holy Son, created in the one reality that is his Father. Christ's vision is his gift to you. His being is his Father's gift to him.
Mm-hmm. And so this is not a typo. This is not words just loosely thrown about. This will be emphasized in other places in the course. There is only one miracle: creation of out of the Father's being came all of creation. That's the miracle. When we're asleep, dreaming dark dreams of the past or fretting about the future, we're unaware of it. And when we do forgive and heal, each time we experience that, we get a partial glimpse of the one miracle. For in other words, we see yet another aspect of that miraculous reality. So this is a oneness that you can come become comfortable with the concept and the idea. And if this is new to you, I'm just asking that you allow it into your mind without resistance and accept it as a truth that you may not fully understand. I doubt anyone understands all the oneness, nor they would not still be here in time. But know that it is a quiet transition. Every aspect of reality you see in a quiet, gentle way blends together into a oneness. That miracle is already present with you at all times. You've already got the secret sauce. Elizabeth wrote in the chat, she likes that metaphor, so we'll use that. You've already got the secret sauce, but it may be obscured by some of the nonsense that this world teaches, and certainly is obscured by our preoccupation with the past.
Be you content with healing, for Christ's gift you can bestow, and your Father's gift you cannot lose. Offer Christ's gift to everyone and everywhere. For miracles, offered the Son of God through the Holy Spirit, attune you to reality. The Holy Spirit knows your part in the redemption and who are seeking you and where to find them. Knowledge is far beyond your individual concern. You who are part of it and all of it need only realize that it is of the Father, not you. Your role in the redemption leads you to it by reestablishing its oneness in your mind.
Mm-hmm. That's the return, the reestablishing of the original oneness and of creation back into your mind. We refer to this as the remembering or the recognition, to cognize once again, the recognition of the oneness in your mind. So that's the big picture. The work of this world of today is healing. And so that's our function now. Be you content with healing, of offering these gifts of spiritual insight and understanding and clarity, this message in your mind. Live your life according to these principles, and it will manifest in your relationships. These gifts are something that can be given in abundance. To have, give all to all. So offer Christ's gifts to everyone and everywhere. These are the gifts of miracles we're talking about. And I really want to draw your attention to this expression. By offering the gift of miracles to give all to all, it attunes you to reality. Think of like a guitarist that has to retune his guitar during a performance and is retuning the instrument. Well, in the same way, a miracle will retune you to the divine reality, the golden aspects of reality that you will catch as you experience miracles. You'll become attuned to it. And this is how we heal. We should say that with respect to knowledge, the whole idea of knowledge, that the Course does say multiple times, knowledge is far beyond your individual concern. It's not something like I'm thinking Brother Paul might say, gosh, I don't really understand this concept of knowledge. I sure would like to. The Course says it's not necessary to conceptualize something that's infinite, something that's eternal and infinite. As a matter of fact, any conceptual framework that you or I might begin to partake of is surely to be a reduction or an oversimplification of the reality. And so it's best to just view it like a faithful little child of trusting that it's there. So not knowledge, which is the mind of God, that's the case. You need only realize that it is of the Father and that you have a role in returning by reestablishing awareness of this knowledge in your mind.
When you have seen your brothers as yourself, you will be released to knowledge, having learned to free yourself through him who knows of freedom. Unite with me under the holy banner of his teaching, and as we grow in strength, the power of God's Son will move in us, and we will leave no one untouched and no one left alone. And suddenly, time will be over, and we will all unite in the eternity of God the Father. The holy light you saw outside yourself in every miracle you offered to your brothers will be returned to you. And knowing that the light is in you, your creations will be there with you, as you are in your Father.
Mm-hmm. So we said that this section would be about a vision of what would be ordinarily thought of as the future, as a state in which timelessness is, we enter into from time into timelessness. When does all this happen? Well, it happens for each person according to their willingness. It's not we don't think of it well, it can be thought in multiple ways, but the first way to think about it is, when's it going to happen for you? And it happens when you've seen all your brothers as yourself. When you see in that light the unity of the light within everyone is the same light that is within you, then you have seen clearly, and then you'll be released to knowledge, for you have learned to free yourself. And but the collective entry of all beings into that state is also something that the Course talks about, for it can leave no one untouched and no one left alone. For now, just know, and this is the tall order that David has remarked on in the past, the a very tall order of forgiving everyone, what we would call total forgiveness. Um, and more, I'm coming to see you don't do that in the manner of time, like time, you measure the days and you count the days and they without days without number. Well, in the same way with forgiving everyone, you don't count them one at a time, forgiving there. What you do is you wind up forgiving everyone all at once, just because you no longer have any investment in judgment and guilt. And when there's no investment whatsoever in the what we call the false prerogative of judgment, then the light naturally emerges through and you see it in everyone. Um, it says, and suddenly time will be over and we will all unite in eternity. So now we're talking about the plan of atonement being completed. This is the plan that we would know as the universal age of time would be completed, and then creation enters into the next universal age of timelessness. Suddenly time will be over, unite in eternity. And what are the attributes there? Every time you saw light, it meaning your soul perceived the other person as having the divine light in them, every time that you saw divine light and recognized it in another person, that will be, it says it'll be returned to you, meaning that you'll know the light you saw in them is also the light in you. It's not a separate light or a different light. You'll know the light is in you. And these will be part of what the Course calls your creations, your recognition of love and light and life in others becomes part of your contribution to the beauty of creation. Um, all that seems very lofty, but no, that's what the Holy Spirit is, all this is about, is freeing us from all the obstacles that would keep us from these gifts, which are part of our divine inheritance.
As miracles in this world join you to your brothers, so do your creations establish your fatherhood in heaven. You are the witness to the fatherhood of God, and He has given you the power to create the witnesses to yours, which is as His. Deny a brother here, and you deny the witnesses to your fatherhood in heaven. The miracle that God created is perfect, as are the miracles that you established in His name. They need no healing, nor do you when you accept them. Yet in this world, your perfection is unwitnessed. God knows it, but you do not, and so you do not share His witness to it, nor do you witness unto Him, for reality is witnessed to as one. God waits your witness to His Son and to Himself. The miracles you do on earth are lifted up to heaven and to Him. They witness to what you do not know, and as they reach the gates of heaven, God will open them. For never would he leave his own beloved Son outside them and beyond himself.
Mhm. So again, miracles are an experience where we shift from time into timelessness. And that experience is where we witness, we recognize the light in others is the same divine light that is within ourselves. And these are called your creations. And you keep them, they are a part of you. In common parlance, your soul grows when you do these things. You grows in awareness as you recognize the light in others. And as we said, eventually we come to recognize it in everyone, everywhere. And so that those experiences, um, what can we say about those experiences? They are a part of our eternal destiny. They are forever. Those miracles are our creations which last forever. We carry them wherever we go. And the Course refers to the fact that we were the creators, the co-creators of those miracles, as this is an evidence of our fatherhood in heaven, a topic which is quite lofty and I think we'll save for another time. But know that when you're creating, you are birthing an experience that lasts forever. Um, and these wind up witnessing to your creative power. They also witness to the power of the Father to create these things in us. So that's very lofty. Yet in this world, our perfection is unwitnessed or unacknowledged, unrecognized. God may know it, but when we're in our little mind, our separated mind, we do not recognize or give witness to the creation and thus cut ourselves off and don't share our recognition of the light. So this is what the separation is. It's cutting yourself off of the truth of what you are and what creation is. So the miracles are the remedy device for that. They are the most accessible method for healing that we have. It's the only method for healing that we have here. And in participating and practicing those principles in all our affairs with everyone that we encounter, we wind up creating glimpses of eternity, and they are lifted up to heaven and give witness to the truth that of creation. This is the way it was intended to be, described in some places in the Course as perfect communication, complete awareness of the beauty and the truth and the goodness and the eternity and the wholeness of creation. Not just partial glimpses, but full and complete awareness. Again, inside the mind of God, you can understand how there would be no obstructions that would blind us from anything. They are all there for us to witness to. I did a summary of some of the key points here that I thought that since we had a few moments, we would review together. First of all, just kind of looking back, perception has its limits. It's fragments of information that keep changing, that are different for everybody. And it's kind of the tool that expresses the language, the viewpoint that expresses separation. In contrast, knowledge works on the sphere of knowledge, in the sphere of eternity. It is complete and total and perfect and based on oneness, qualitatively different than all aspects of perception. And so the bridge is forgiveness. It's the means of taking the perceptual system that we have and reinterpreting it. The Course calls it purifying it, ridding it of all the obstacles and all the errors and all of the judgments and fears, that allows us to look beyond the timeline, look beyond our grievances, and then the Holy Spirit introduces a new kind of perception, a lofty perception in which the truth is reinforced. And how is that done? Well, the Holy Spirit's an expert at it. She's the therapist. She's the interpreter. She corrects all of our errors very gently if we are willing to join with her in seeking the truth. She will repurpose this tool of perception, again, purifying it, cleansing it, and thus, here's a key point. By repurposing perception, the Holy Spirit helps the mind to become a tool of healing. Your mind is intended to be used for the purposes of healing. And at its most lofty stage, then, this is a progression, at its most lofty stage, perception comes up to the threshold of knowledge where it's very similar, not the same, but very similar. It's called a reflection of knowledge. It mirrors knowledge because its focus is on divine innocence, divine wholeness, and on love and peace. I think, yes, one more point. And all this is done to enable us to be ready for God to take the last step, the shift beyond time into timelessness that ends all questions, all belief. It's a state beyond faith. It's a state of knowing, of direct awareness. So perception, which is our concern for now, is a temporary learning device for the purposes of preparing us to graduate into this final state of total oneness with creation. Well, that's as far. Wow. was that rich enough? You know, like I'm thinking sometimes French foods are very creamy, they're very rich. You can't, you're not supposed to eat a lot of. This is very rich material. The author doesn't do this all the time because it would be too much. But from time to time, it's important for our motivation to give us a glimpse into what is in store for us. It's our inheritance. It's where we were meant to be, to return to this state of freedom that is free of the prison of time and allows us to miraculously enter in to that golden light we call the real world. And so we will continue that conversation. By the way, chapters, as I mentioned, 14 through 18 are all about, well, how do I apply this on today type of experiences so that we can get very comfortable with the holy encounter and the holy instance. For that is really the core of the experiences that the Holy Spirit is leading us to. So we'll pick that up very shortly. Thank you all for your attention. Julie, thank you for your reading, for your contributions to the group. And I wish you all many happy prayers and pleasant dreams as you let these ideas surround your heart and nurture you in divine light. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thanks so much, Jonica. Thanks, everybody.
Yes,
Thank
thank you so much.
Good night.
Namaste.
Monica, this was just, your teaching is just, my perception of your teaching is, it's just superb.
Yes.
Amazing. It's just amazing, amazing class.
Very clear, and I meant to say easily digestible.
Yeah.
That secret sauce. It really just helped it go down a little smoother. You know, it's like a teaspoon of sugar helps the medicine go down.
It does.
And yet this actually, we're starting to realize, is exactly what we've been hungry for.
Yes.
It's just the ego part is the resistor, but this felt so smooth and really delicious.
This is delicious, isn't it?
Let's digest well.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
we'll have to use those food metaphors more often, Elizabeth.
Well, yes and no, because then we're going to be running into the kitchen too often. But, you know, it's like, it could be new every time. I think I was in a class the other day. It said, let each moment be a new moment. This was
I like
perfect for
that.
now. Let the Holy Divine surprise us
Thank you. I
for the
like
next
that.
one, because it says it doesn't always serve the same menu. You haven't seen
That is so
eternity yet.
true. Thank you for that reminder, Elizabeth. That is the truth.
Yeah.
You know what else? I just
myself.
have to say one thing. It's never the same, because this time for me, the message that really was resonating with me through the whole reading was to have give all to all, and how important it is to give to my brother. I don't know, that just was the overall.
Each time.
Yeah.
What is it?
And
Each
one
time
thing that
new.
one thing
came
that
in
I
right
saw
at
in there
the
too
end
is
because I
give it
was
to
out.
yourself first.
Sorry.
Give it to yourself first, because then you know you have. I was getting this last night so clear. Make sure first you say, Holy Spirit or Divine Self, help me know I have it to give. Then I'm going to see it easily, because so much it's like, well, if I see it in them, then I'll know it's in me. Say, you know it's in me. So you can help hold it within me, because then the reflection can come, and someone's like, oh, I have to see it in them to see it in me, leaves a lack again. So there's a sort of a first, a joyous assumption. It is in me. Now it's my joy to start to let that be seen. How it shows up, I don't know. I just am loving how it's going to show up, because it is there. That is just another way to kind of, I've seen it fluctuate some moments. It could be that, you know, a certain presentation, and then another, it says just go with there's no lack. We're not looking to fill a void. We just want to see what is there. And it must begin with me, because if it is in me, there's a reason I'm not seeing it. So just show it up for me wherever it needs to be.
True, true.
Love everyone. See you. Thanks.
Peace. Thank you.